How's it going, everybody? It's me, HoodlumCallum, and today I'm joined by my friend Duncan Can't Die. I said your name right this time.
Yeah,
We're doing.
I can't die now.
We're currently doing a top 10 on Pokemon features we'd like to see in a Pokemon Generation 8 slash UK region, and we did number 10 through 6 on Duncan's channel. So a link to that will be in the description. Please go check that out if you haven't yet, because it's the first half of the video. It would be a bit backwards to do it otherwise.
I mean, you could watch it backwards though, because the points they're all sort of interchangeable.
Yeah, I guess.
If you want to watch this one first, you go ahead. It's whatever.
Fair play. But this is technically part 2, so I mean,
Yeah.
just have that on your conscience.
On your conscience.
I mean, to be fair, when I was younger, I watched Shrek 2 before I watched Shrek 1. You know, it's pretty.
Oh dear. How could you?
I know, right? Sin, the ultimate sin. Okay. So number 5, we're going to be talking about the legendary trio. Scotland, England, and Wales.
It's gotta be Scotland, England, and Wales. Sorry, Ireland.
Yeah, their national animal is the unicorn, the lion, and the Welsh dragon. So we're hoping that if there's gonna, well, I mean, I think every generation has had a legendary trio. Whatever the legendary trio is, I mean, for the most part, I think.
Yeah, no, I think they all.
Well, technically it was 4 in Generation 7, wasn't it? Coco.
Yeah, but Keldeo was kind of added later, wasn't he? As like sort of like
No,
the apprentice one.
Oh no, but no, I mean Tapu Koko, Lele, and.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, Generation 7.
Yeah.
Keldeo. I'm great at Pokemon, guys.
Anyways, we were thinking if, you know, there's going to be a legendary trio, which most likely there is going to be, we think it should be based off of the national animals of the, you know, England, Scotland, and Wales. The lion, I know we've just had Solgaleo, but it's Pokemon, they can do so much. Even if it's just a slight resemblance to a lion, a Welsh dragon, and a unicorn, you know, I think they could, you know.
I mean, there are loads of ways they could do it though, right? Because we've got like the history of knights and stuff here. It could be 3 sort of knight style Pokemon where they all look similar, but one is the lion knight, one's the unicorn knight, and the other's the dragon knight. Like there's nothing stopping it being like that.
I was just about to say, Lele is like a butterfly, Bulu is a bull, Coco is a chicken, and Swordfish for Finny, I think it is.
Dolphin, I think.
Yeah, you know, they're loosely based off of those animals, and they could do the same thing here. They don't have to make them literal lions or literal dragons, but I think as long as it's referencing that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. You're right, though. They've done 4 twice now, because obviously I was thinking back to the Keldeo and the legendary trio of the Swords of something, Justice?
Yeah.
Swords of Justice. And then the Cocos and all of that. They could do 4. Ireland could be in there as well.
I looked up Ireland's national animal, and it's a hare.
Oh, come on. That's got to be in there. We need 4. It needs to be a legendary quad thing.
Could do.
But yeah, that could work really, really well. And as I said, I actually just completely off the top of my head thought of the Knights thing. But the only sort of Knight-type Pokemon we have are Escavier and Bisharp.
Yeah, I was literally going to say Bisharp, but then, you know. Yeah.
But we could have that kind of thing, like Metal Knights, and they're you know, maybe even their golems, like the Regis, and they've been summoned to different areas. They've been built in them because we've had industry here. You know, they're man-made Pokemon to defend the different areas. All kinds of different things we could have.
It's Pokemon, you know, they can do whatever. Yo, imagine if they were like chess pieces, and like the top of the chess piece was like the type of animal.
That would be awesome, dude. I don't care. That could be cool.
That could work out really well, actually.
I trust the Pokemon design team. They have designed some bad Pokemon in the past. There are some Pokemon that I don't like, but the majority are awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. And they can really, like, especially recently, they've been, like, just going off. The recent Pokemon are so cool.
Yeah.
So I think they've just nailed it recently.
I don't know. It might be a bit controversial to say, but I think the only generation that really lacked in design was Gen 5.
Yeah, I think... But I don't actually think that's the fault of Gen 5, because actually, if you look at Gen 5, it had some belters.
No,
it
did.
did.
It had some amazing Pokemon, but a lot of them were also lacking.
I think they were too ambitious. They were like, we're going to make 150 new Pokemon right now, and that's all we're going to put in the game. And they just gave themselves too much to do.
Talking to one of my friends about this, I think they added a bit, like, for like example, Gothitelle. That didn't need to be a 3-stage evolution. That could literally have been a 2-stage, you know?
Yeah.
They added a bit too many Pokemon.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of that, of there just being a few too many.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that the Legendary Trio could be great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do for the legendaries of the UK region.
Crashing into our number 4 slot, we've got Pokemon based off of UK animals. We can't just leave it at legendaries and sort of mythical creatures. We want Pokemon based off of real life animals too. The UK has a really varied ecosystem, and it's got a lot of animals that are quite unique here. And I'd really love to see some Pokemon based off of them.
Red squirrels, rabbits, foxes, badgers.
Gotta have badgers and red squirrels. That's my big 2.
Bread and butter.
Bread and butter. You know what? If there's a badger Pokemon and a red squirrel Pokemon now, you will see in my playthroughs and all of my like Wi-Fi battles, all of that, their names are going to be bread and butter. Because of this moment right
Hell yeah.
here.
No, I definitely agree. UK, like, I don't personally mind when they make multiple Pokemon of, like, you know, like, I guess there's already been a squirrel Pokemon in Pachirisu. But
it's not a red squirrel.
Yeah,
right?
I guess technically, yeah. I don't mind that if they were to redo a Pokemon. You know, there's plenty of butterfly Pokemon, plenty of fish Pokemon.
The only thing is, I would be a little frustrated if the red squirrel Pokemon was like the new Pika clone.
Yeah.
It was like another, like, I'd want it to be very different. Like, why not make the red squirrel a fire Pokemon? And it's like the flaming squirrel, or, you know, a flying Pokemon. And for some reason it can, well, no, that would be a flying squirrel. Let's not do that. Like, we've already had one of them.
That's true.
But
I think fire's
you know what I mean?
right on the money though.
Yeah.
Foxes.
We've already had a red fox in Delphox, but you could definitely do that very differently.
Yeah,
there's a lot they could do.
They could do like a really cool. Is a Zoroark technically a fox?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know, because I was thinking they could do like a cool like thieving fox, but I guess Zoroark is kind of like that. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing like the fox be like the Route 1 Pokemon. I don't know.
Exactly. It could be a normal type.
Exactly.
Like just the Route 1 normal type.
And to be honest, they've been making the Route 1 Pokemon really strong recently. Like Diggersby's ridiculous.
Oh, Diggersby though.
Yes.
Earthquake to hidden below. That thing was a monster, especially with its hidden ability. Like without the hidden ability, it was kind of meh. But with that hidden ability, with huge power. And they could do that again.
Yeah, they could do that again.
Give us a starter route mon that isn't overpowered in your playthrough because it's got the regular ability, and then you get the hidden ability one, and it's like, oh, now I can use it competitively, and that's great because I really enjoyed using it in my playthrough. You know, he was my boy Foxy McFoxerson, or whatever you want to call your fox.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So I think there are a lot to do, but badgers absolutely need to be in the game. Squirrels absolutely need to be in the game.
Foxes are my personal favorite vote because I've seen so many of them now in person. Ever since I moved down to like the Glasgow area, like I've seen multiple just like, you know, skirting around. So I would love to see one of those
skirting around.
I think it's realistic to have them in the UK. Like they're just always there.
Yeah, you're right. Foxes are absolutely everywhere, so I think it's super important to include them. I think even if we have had a fox Pokemon in the past, we need a British fox. And you're right, they're literally everywhere from like London all the way up to Glasgow. You can find foxes,
and they're super common at nighttime. And you know they could translate that into the game where if you're playing at nighttime, fox Pokemon, whatever the fox Pokemon is, spawns a bit more often.
So make the birds more common in the day, and then that could work really, really well.
And also the cubs are cute.
Oh yeah, the baby cubs.
Establishing that this region is based off of the UK is super important to us. So at number 3, Duncan and I are really wanting to see UK-themed trainer classes, you know? We want to see Royal Guard, want to see British Police, Bobbies, if you will. Scottish Neds, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Why are we not having trainers in kilts?
Yeah.
As one of the classes. Like, the Scotsmen are there. You could have Irishmen there, like, being all drunk or you know?
I don't know if they're gonna do that in a Pokemon game, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, that was a joke.
Maybe have it
Scotsmen
implied.
Get drunk too, so do British people. But no, definitely could have like an Irish, a Scottish, a Welsh trainer class. They definitely have very unique looks.
Yeah.
You definitely want, as you said, Royal Guard. You could have the Beefeaters as well.
We've had police officer trainer classes in the past. Like my mind immediately jumps to Heart Gold, so like we can easily like I definitely think the British police will be here. I just really hope that they are British proper. You can tell that they're UK police versus American police. They've got different hats, different sort of outfits in general, and yeah, you know, I think there's been police trainer classes in every game actually for the most part. Maybe I think Hoenn is maybe the one that's lacking.
Gen 1 definitely had it as well. Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, right? To have UK-based trainer classes. I think it really helps with the immersion in the game. It makes it feel more like that region.
Yeah.
If you have the trainers be from that region. They did a really good job of it in XY, as you said. They did a really good job of it in Sun and Moon. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming in a lot higher on the list than some people would expect, we're going to be talking about post-game. We personally really want, at number 2, to return to Kalos.
Might be a bit ambitious, but like with Pokemon post game, that's something they've always been critiqued for, and I think linking to, you know, Kalos X and Y, linking to the first ever 3D Pokemon game with the first ever, you know, main series Switch Pokemon game, like linking those two together, that would be really cool, and it makes sense, you know, geographically. So
I mean, we can get from London to Paris in an hour and a half on the train. And there was an unused train in X and Y that nobody knows what it did. Yep. They're like, oh, maybe you can use this train at some point. So why not make that train the train between Britland region and Kalos?
Exactly. That could definitely be done. And I really hope it is. It might be a bit ambitious. I don't know. Even if we can only visit Kalos, one town of Kalos, like... You know, we can only visit Lumiose because that's the town with the train, like, or the city with the train, whatever. If you can only visit Lumiose, that's fine. Even if it's another Lucar side quest, you know, as long as they make it a little bit less mind-numbing, you know, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I think you made a good point, and we were talking about this back and forth earlier, and I think one of the things that really makes a game feel more immersive is when you get a reward after beating the game.
Yes, for sure.
Like... games that just end when you beat the final boss, or they save the game, but it puts you back in the situation you were in before the final boss was defeated and the final boss is still there. Yeah, Breath of the Wild. That's like the one that really jumps to the brain is Breath of the Wild, and how when you beat the final boss, you get this amazing cutscene, and it's like Zelda's free now, and you're going to explore the world with Zelda, and you're going to try and rebuild Hyrule, and then you don't get to play any of that. Yeah. And I think just the extra... They had Tarry Town in Breath of the Wild, right? We know that we can deliver resources to rebuild something. My dream DLC for Breath of the Wild was also always, after you beat Ganon, you get like this DLC where you can rebuild Hyrule Castle, and you've got to bring supplies to Zelda, and she's like, I need this, this, this. There's still Ganon's influence on the outside world, which explains why monsters are still around, and we need to bring citizens here and all of this. And then at the end of the game, the real end of the game is where you've rebuilt Hyrule Castle, and there's a bustling castle town. That would have been it for me. That would have been the perfect game. And I think that the lack of reward for beating Breath of the Wild is the only negative point I have for that game. And I really don't want to see that with this Switch Pokemon game. I want to feel like I'm living in a world after I saved the day, after I became the champion. I want people to reference me as champ. I want people to be really impressed. You know, it's what I want.
Sun and Moon kind of got the idea a little bit. They allowed you to do champion rebattles. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, that was the best way of doing the Elite Four, where the champion could go and like people would come and challenge you, so you're still the champion. You're not just playing the champion over and over again. And they're like, but I beat you already. You know? Exactly. People come to you and they're like, I want to be the champion, and you're like, nope, son, this is my throne. There is actually a part in
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I don't know about Sun and Moon, but like when you're about to enter the Elite Four, there's like fangirls outside. It's really funny. There's genuine fangirls, and I, you know, like stuff like that's important. So we want something to do after the game's done, and we think going to Kalos, even if it's just for Lumiose City, it was probably the best thing you can do in a UK-based region, just because it makes sense in so many ways. And at number 1, we have huge bias because Duncan and I are both Scottish. So naturally, we want to see a town in the game based off of Scotland. At the very least.
Just one.
One small town at the side of it. I don't really care. I just want a town based Scotland because Scotland's beautiful. And, you know, everybody wants representation in Pokemon. You know, whenever people think of the UK, they usually just think of London. And we're hoping that Pokemon Company don't follow that. You know, we want them... I think the UK is small enough to make a whole region off of it.
I mean, it made sense for the American region to be based off of one city or one state, because California is the size of the UK. You can't fit the whole of America into one region. But the UK, you can. Yeah. And, you know, we want the Scotland town because we're biased, but the Welsh and the Irish, they can have a town too.
Exactly. Especially...
gets a town.
Especially if there's going to be, like, legendaries based off of, you know, those parts.
Because if we're going to get the Unicorn Legendary Knight or whatever it ends up being, I want to get it from the Scottish town.
Yeah.
I want it to be the defender of the Scottish area. You know, like a little town, maybe a lock. You know, on the edge of a lock with a shiny lapras in the middle.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. Like, he had like a brain explosion. He was like, "Yo, a lock, like the town has got a lock next to it, and you can find a shiny lapras in the middle of the lock, just like, you know, Red Gyarados in the Lake of Rage." You know, something like that. Call back to Gen 2, and it would also tie in if we did Gen 2 only regional forms of that region. You know, it would be a nice tie back.
Yeah,
you know, nice throwback.
Like just those throwbacks to different generations and things, like for that nostalgia as well.
Oh yeah, and the reason why it would be Lapras is because Lapras is kind of based off of Nessie, which was a Scottish, you know, Scottish legend.
Scottish legend, or is it real?
It could be. Apparently, the guy said it was fake on his deathbed.
Yeah, the guy who did the Nessie photos was like, "Yeah, it's fake." As he died.
I wouldn't do that, man. That's messed up. Anyways,
that's a god tier troll. He made his entire career, like he made loads of money off of those photos, all of that, and then as he died, he's like, "By the way,
it's fake."
Gotcha. But no, I think Nessie would be great. Like, I don't know. There's so much they could do with a Scottish region, with a Scottish town. I want to see Scotland. I want to see some Scottish landmarks. I know it's biased. Filled with Scottish trainers named Duncan and Callum.
Yes.
We both have super common Scottish names. If they give us a Scottish town, the odds of at least one of our names making it into the game, pretty high.
Yeah, because
right?
I remember when I was in high school, or well, like a secondary school or academy, I think is what we call it here typically. I think one of my classes had 17 people in it, and 4 of them were called Callum. So
yeah, I mean, Callum is super common. Duncan is super common. Duncan's unisex. I've met a girl named Duncan.
Yeah, like, so you could have a girl named Duncan, and Duncan would be perfectly fine with that. Like
I would just be a girl in Pokemon. It's like, oh well, I'm playing a female trainer for the first time ever. Like that's it. We're going female as our trainer choice.
Might be a bit greedy, but we would love to see a representation of Scotland. And you know, if they had our names in the game, even if it's not referencing us specifically, just having.
Oh, of course it wouldn't be referencing us specifically.
Obviously,
but can you imagine? You know what's a Scottish-based Pokemon? Scrafty's a little bit Scottish looking.
I could see it, yeah.
Maybe that's just in my head because I've seen your Scottish Scrafty artwork so many times, actually.
Yeah.
Thinking of the actual Pokemon, not really. He's based on an American Hoodlum. But, you know what?
Regional variant? Regional variant?
Regional variant of Scrafty? Screw the making a Gen 2 only. Nah, go with everything so that we can have a Scrafty with bagpipes. Have the Callum Scrafty in the game.
God damn it.
Boom, done.
Definitely not. Absolutely not.
Scrafty Callum form? Let's go.
Anyways, that is our top 10 of the things we'd like to see in a UK region in Generation 8. If you guys want to leave what you want to see in the comments below, that would be cool.
Yeah, more information is always good. So if you guys have other ideas, I'd love to see them.
Exactly, because like, you know, there's so many of you guys, and I'm sure you've got some cool ideas that we'll you know, be kicking ourselves for not including in this video. And of course, if you missed Duncan's half of the video, he was part 1, you know, number 10 to 6. Link to that's always in the description if you want to check that out, please do. And thanks to Lotad for editing this video. Shout outs to him.
Shout out to the boy. Both videos. What a lad.
What a good boy. And we will catch you guys next time. Hopefully we get the reveal soon. I'm really looking forward to it.